Over Easter weekend, I'm here putting honey on my bread, drinking milk. I'm thinking, hey, Americans are living a nice life. Milk and honey like this. Now here you are telling us.
This room right here we're in is 13,000 rand if there's a toilet. I'm surprised, like when I came over here, at all of the ethnicities and the acceptance, right, of the different races and the different cultures. I've been to Durban two times already. Up in the hills
there with the Zulu people there.
So I got to film the chieftains and the kings.
You know Arania?
Yeah, man, I saw a documentary. TikTok was showing me the Aronia documentary, like after I had booked and stuff, and I was like, I wonder if I can get in. I'm like, because
they'll look at your curly hair, they'll be like, nah, bro.
Nah, brother. I think I'm gonna take you to a place called Kwamamai. I'm not sure if you've been there. It's Kwamamai. It's an extraordinary one.
You might not come back the same.
Yeah. There's all types of meat there.
Food is healthier here, first of all. Not only that, the eggs at McDonald's for your breakfast taste like eggs. It's chicken licking. Yeah. I went to chicken licking before I went to KFC.
You found your soul, You found your soul, like, yeah. This is where I need to be.
I was like, hey.
It's an exciting Tuesday, I gotta say, man. We've got an extraordinary gentleman in the building, man. Media producer, digital content creator, and I gotta put him in this category because I want to say also tourist, because he's been around the world. He's not from here, Ladies and gentlemen, Timothy Claiborne. Sabona.
How are you guys doing? How's everybody?
We're fantastic, man. I'm glad that you could join us, man. Hey, how long have you been in South Africa?
I just hit the 9-week mark. I just hit the 9-week mark. So
the 9 weeks. Okay. So I'm guessing you've traveled to Cape Town. You've been to Durban, all of those.
So Cape Town's the last on my list because when I get there, I just want to go to Robben Island, right?
Oh, okay.
But I have been to Mpumalanga. I've been to Durban two times already. Up
All
in
the
experience
there with the Zulu people there.
So I got to film the chieftains and the kings as they were, touring some American Westerners, individuals for land investment.
Oh, nice.
So to be offered the opportunity to film that was extraordinary for me culturally. That stood out so far, definitely. But from Mpumalanga to Ulamzi, Durban twice. Loved being in the mountains.
It's incredible mountains. Did you see the Drakensberg?
It's
an area of mountains where you feel going to KZN and you see it. It's like an incredible one.
Most likely I did, and I most likely took a photo.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you. I don't want to say for sure, but I'm gonna show you some of the content, some of the photos. Right. You tell me where exactly I was on the drive.
Oh, fantastic, man! All right, cool, man. So let's hear a little bit about yourself, man. Creativity, film, photography, and storytelling, man. How does why do you do it? How does it impact? And obviously, you're here also, and tell us a little bit more about the food as well.
Oh, okay.
Because I know the food here is the one, and I want you to tell me what's your favorite after this.
Okay, so it's hard for me. So I'll start here. I'm a filmmaker. I'm a photographer. I call myself a storyteller. I really, I believe in making the biggest impact with my camera that I can. Right, not just in the moment, but afterwards. I love to mentor. I love to teach. I love to bring people along. I love to give them opportunities that weren't granted to me. It's important to pass down anything and everything I've learned. YouTube University.
Of course.
Right.
Now we all went there.
Helped me.
It's an incredible one.
Yeah, it helped me so much, right? With the learning the camera, but also learning, how can I say it? How to own your tools, right? And so actually having a camera and owning your camera, right? It's two different things to me. I said before, I'll say it again. For me, when I'm behind the camera, it's an exchange of energy. So it's your energy through my lens into my energy.
So, and you're obviously telling a story there.
Yep. It's got to be deep. It's got to be impactful. It's got to be meaningful. It has to lead to something for me to really even be a part of it now at this stage of my career. Yeah, I mean, right now I wouldn't change anything. I came from
That's
restaurant
incredible.
general management, banking, and the corporate world.
Is it? Oh,
So
that's
you
incredible.
you dropped the suit for the camera?
Oh yeah, in a heartbeat.
Yeah?
Yo,
Well,
man, there's a lot of people who do that, and I'm like, yo, guys, are you serious? It's still a scary thing to do, hey, nowadays.
I had a physical injury, man.
Oh yeah.
And so it took me out of the restaurants. It took me. They're like, yeah, you can't even stretch your arm for banking. I've got 11 screws over here, some neck issues as well. So, 2021, my younger cousin, 10 years younger than me, had this beautiful camera and a stabilizer, and I was like, that's cool. I went and got my little power shot Canon, and I'm like, hey, my lens doesn't come off like yours. He's like, yeah, you're not ready.
Yeah, okay.
This is about 10 years younger than me. And I'm like, okay. But then over a few months, I upgraded. I got passionate. And I'm like, I started looking at my old Instagrams when I cooked. And I'm like, I had a
This was me.
I was like, I was shooting stuff on the phone.
Yeah,
I
man.
didn't realize it.
So tell me something. Of course, you coming off from the suits and ties in a cubicle, and you've decided, let me drop this, or I don't know, you didn't decide. Of course, circumstances in life have led to you making a decision. Say, how do I make a better decision for myself? And you went and you picked up the camera. Now, of course, in current times, we've been heavily exposed to creatives, being the influencers, being influences per se, obviously in different spectrums. Now that you're in creative environments, and it's been brought into our light that creatives don't necessarily make a huge amount of money in the first 6 months or first 12 months of their involvement in the industry. How have you been able to monetize your opportunity in the creative industry?
It took 2 years, not gonna lie. I had to put money out to invest in that camera and
Of
that
course,
gear.
yeah.
I had to learn it, but then I had to get the body of work, right? So to monetize myself, I had to get out into the community with my local creatives, meaning my musicians, right? I
Of course.
every night I was in the clubs, shooting, film, photography, handing over that work, working in low light conditions to practice, to give me more experience in something I was a little afraid of, or a part of the creative photography process that's hard, right? You have to get into the room.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to. It's imperative. So once you're in the room, your work ethic shows.
Yeah.
There's you get in there. You see a couple photographers hanging around the side. There's snipers. You know what I mean. But if you can get into the crowd, engage, put a mask on. Like me, I'm a quiet guy when I'm not working.
Sure.
But when I'm working, whether it's with the suit and tie, I am dialed in. I am ready to go, right? And so I just brought that mindset, like, okay, I could stand back and be the shy guy in the corner and just kind of tap away. But get in there, be active. People are going to see you. They're going to see you move. They're going to see you work. And they're going to want to bring you to their next event, to their next show. And literally, as cliche as this sounds, one stage led to another, which led to another, which led to another. So helping my local musicians out at night allowed me to show my work on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram. People were watching. They saw it. The club owners saw it. And those club owners are celebrity lawyer attorneys, right? So
Of course,
then all of
yeah.
a sudden we go and I'm doing some events, and it's for nonprofits. It's there's local news coverage there. I'm seeing on TV photographing that event.
Where in the States? Which states are you in?
Minnesota.
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 Yeah. I was going to say, probably a lot of our listeners are on air listening and thinking, who is this guy with this accent?
Oh, yeah.
How do you not
I'm
know
from
where he's
Minnesota,
from?
eh?
A different
Yeah,
accent, eh?
you know?
Yeah,
Minnesota.
I'm from Minnesota.
Is that where George?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, what's his name? George who?
George Floyd.
George Floyd. Yes. That whole situation happened that side, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, you being a photographer, and of course, the saying goes, a picture tells 1,000 stories. I'm sure you've told over 1,000 stories already with a couple of your pictures. Ronnie has mentioned now George Floyd being there, and you coming from the same city. Looking at the political warfare, or the political warfare in America, and coming back down here and coming back down here in Africa, and then you get to understand actually there's a rainbow nation here, and the rainbow nation represents a variety of colors. How are you able to now to depict the differences in political warfare with America and South Africa using your pictures?
So what I'll say is, in America, we represent 13% of the country,
Sure.
right? And so we don't have a real
13%
of the country.
Wow.
So we don't have a real say. We don't have a real voice.
Wow.
Right? We're very limited. We're in the areas where George was killed. Right? We are condensed into the ghettos, into the projects. Right? And
so that's a real thing. That's not even like Hollywood trying to.
No, that's real. That's real. So like Minnesota, St. Paul, Minneapolis. I mean, those two cities hold about 50% of the African American population.
Sure.
Right? But yet in Minnesota, we're only 7% of the population. So we deal with heavy policing, like
you can't just go buy a pack of chips in the store for you can't just be that guy.
no, not like it's I get uncomfortable when I go to the malls. My first great mall experience was here in South Africa. I walked in and I felt like no one was watching me, no one was over my shoulder, no one saw me as a villain. But still, to get to your question, I'm surprised, like when I came over here, at all of the ethnicities and the acceptance, right, of the different races and the different cultures. So when I walk over here at Sandton City Mall, and I'm like,
oh, you're definitely seeing the varieties. I'm definitely seeing a diversity.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
for
like,
sure.
I see your blonde hair. I think you're German. I see you're Hindu. But like the thing is I see people walk past each other, and or greet each other, not look at someone in a way that's like, what are you doing here?
Oh my God, like
you don't belong here.
Because I always thought that wasn't a real thing, eh? Because I would say, like, just the same way they would depict Africa to the Americans, to say how there's just starving people here, there's no infrastructures and all those kind of things. So I thought maybe it's the same in America, and it's the same thing that they see. But if you're saying that this is a real thing, and the undermining of the black communities and everything else, that's insane. That's really insane.
It's 100% fact. Like there's not a year that goes by.
That explains the march, the protest and everything.
Oh yeah, it was real, and especially where we were at, right? Like that was my home. Like that was ground zero for George Floyd that moment. And so, but what people don't understand is we had Philando Castile a couple years before that.
Yes, I remember that.
And that was in my state again. We've got Michael Brown. We have so many other moments before that.
Yeah. So I think just to continue what you're saying now, to the rest of the world, it's George Floyd, but to you, it's 100 others.
Yeah.
So we only get a glimpse of George Floyd. But then just to bring that into question, of course, when you do shoot some of your content, it's a matter of impact. It's a matter of touching lives. How do you go on about that now that you're in South Africa? How do you take a picture to say, I want Americans, I want people in Minnesota to see this and think my life has been impactful, I've made a change. How can they translate your images from here to say that, hey, actually, this is the free world. It's people are a lot more happier than they are out there than we are here in Minnesota.
Absolutely. So I've been focusing on a lot of the infrastructure. I'm not going to lie. The good and the bad. I like to tell people, you got Sandton on the left, you got the highway, and you got Alex on the right.
For sure.
And so I've been to Alex 10 times. I've filmed there. Forgive me if I say it wrong, but I'm connected with the orphanage there, Ramabanga. And we actually took 14 of them kids, brought them to a basketball camp at Manderville Sports Club in Joburg for 3 days, 3 nights.
Nice.
It's literally the most, to me, my favorite work, the best work that I've ever done. I haven't shown it to except maybe 3 or 4 people, with the goal and the intent to help the orphanage of Alex. Those photos. I think I just put some on my WhatsApp. You might have seen some of the kids if you saw the orange shirts, right? I'm going to tell the story of both sides, right? Like I want to tell Sandton's side because what's built here in South Africa, what's maintained here in South Africa from the infrastructure, so the buildings, the malls, the technology that's actually inside of some of your establishments, it surpasses the United States.
For real?
Yeah, because let's be honest, we don't allow Chinese tech in because it hurts the American market. Huawei's banned, right, in America. Huawei pushed out in Europe. That's because
And they also
Be
try to
honest.
push it out here as well at one point in time.
Because they want to come in with Verizon and our 5G infrastructure. That's the truth right
Speaking about the orphanage there, I just want to talk about the NGOs that supported these people. And obviously with the Donald Trump's move, I mean, it costed a lot of people. I mean, him cutting the funding and everything else. I mean, how do you see that?
So I'm going to use the orphanage exactly because, after we did the camp and we went back, that's an important thing. Is we brought kids to a camp. Now what are we going to do? They don't expect us to be back. So we went back, and we were talking to the person who runs the entire orphanage. She lost 70 people, 70 from USAID being cut. This is in the middle of Alex.
Wow.
Like, are you? When she said
Wow.
that, right now I probably sound, I couldn't believe it.
So 70 employees,
70 employees.
breadwinners at home, just got cut off
cut
like
off.
that.
So the remaining staff is either working for very little or for free, right? Because the kids have no choice. Like, they are there for the kids. They're there for the children.
Yes.
Right? Meanwhile, the garden's getting washed away. It rained my first 2 months here.
Yeah,
Right,
there was
so
a bit of
for her,
rain the last 2 months.
Gardens are getting washed away. They eat from the ground. They don't have structures to even, canopy over. And lights were getting cut off. Electricity bill due, 1,000 rand. And I'm like, that's $55. In my mind, I hear 1,000 rand. I hear 55.
For sure.
And I'm trying to get people to understand, like, no, seriously. Like, if you took out 55 rand, that's how it feels for my dollars to your rand. And to know that is impacting her and all those students,
Sure.
right? And all those kids. It's painful.
Yeah, the economy of life rather obviously puts itself in a position where the poor stay poor and the rich become richer. And of course, like we're speaking of now, the middle class are the ones that are stay slaving around and ensuring that both the poor and the higher class are sustained in an economy. You being the photographer that you are right now, and we spoke about the impact that you have and the pictures that it has on other people's lives. More importantly, what impact does it have on your life?
It's I'd say it's changed me for the better. I could have never imagined I'd be in the types of rooms, the types of places, meeting and greeting, and politicians back home knowing my name and
your name gets flagged on social media, so they definitely know.
Yeah, and people back home know, like, hey, if nonprofits, tick me off a little bit, or if things aren't, if things just aren't being wholesome and fair, right? I have a way to call that out. Same in corporate America. I was calling out my upper management. I was calling out the CEOs of TCF Bank, right? The owners of Papa John's, like, direct conversations, right? Emails, everything. And I was right. And now with film and photography, but more importantly being independent and a freelancer,
of course, yeah.
My world's changed, man. Like, this moment right here, right? It started with a simple conversation, right, of just getting to know each other. Film and photography has changed and curated the world for 130 years.
So I want to jump into this. So obviously, film and photography, there's social media now, there's everything else, and a lot of people are getting into this. How do they monetize this in terms of for them to survive? Because that's a big issue that we've been currently having. And I want to know, how is it from where you come from in the States as well, how they're monetizing such things and everything else. Like, how is it all coming together?
Here's what I'll say. It's too late for a lot of people to fully monetize themselves and make a living, a decent living, right? Like, if you didn't start already post-COVID immediately, it's really hard. And I'll put this with respect to Meta. I've got two profiles on there.
Of course.
One's a Facebook business and one's a personal. My Facebook business has got only 2,600 followers, but it's monetized to the point of ads on Reels, in-stream ads, the stars, the subscriptions, everything. They did it to me randomly. I kind of stopped using that for a while, for a long time, and I use my personal one now. And on there, I've submitted for those things over a year ago. They won't even give it to me, right?
What?
Even just the last week, I had a video go viral, and they're like, "Oh, you can set up your in-stream ads now." And I go, and it's just a blank page that says I've submitted. I reached out. You can't contact them, right? So
yeah, you can't. Meta and Google is very
point being,
difficult. Those two companies.
How I monetize myself is get into the room, get the body of work, build your portfolio, and you use your Facebook and your Instagrams for people you know. Like my Facebook is a lot of people I know, actually. There's 6,700 followers or whatever, but I go through and like I'm trying to clear my friends list. I'm like, I can't. Like, it's from high school. It's from work. It's from meeting you here or there, or it's like, no, I can't. So my friends list is maxed. So honestly, and I'm weird, right? I believe that posting in front of your friends and posting in front of your family is more important on Facebook than posting to Instagram, right? I didn't start TikTok until last November. I kind of got a little following now, nothing huge or major. It's monetized, but I just use TikTok to deliver a different type of media about myself.
Yeah, so that's what I was about to say. Yeah, because I think the different platforms for different things. You know, we might say social media, but Instagram is for the life that you don't have. Some they do have the life. I don't know, but Facebook is more like the people who are actually close to you. They are there. They can see you, type thing.
That's like being in the biggest networking room in the world, right? Like, so if I know a few people that do great things, and they brought me on and brought me into great rooms, and I met more great people. But
yes,
from the click of your phone, you have so much reach.
No, you left your comfort zone, your comfort zone, to say that, for lack of a better phrase, to come into Africa and to try capture some stories and tell a story with your camera. What type of advice would you give to a young person listening to this right now who's currently feeling trapped in their current environment, to just get up and to start doing something?
Follow your dream.
Yeah.
Follow whatever your gut's telling you. And you're going to have people doubt you. You're going to have people try to convince you otherwise. And you just have to know that at the end of the day, what you're doing is for yourself. And you, as scary as it might be, you really got to just take the leap of faith.
Of course,
you have to believe in yourself. And listen, everyone's situation's different. Everyone comes from a different background, right? Like I told you what I've done as a career, but as a child, my life is way different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
Like I've gone through things. We've gone through things. And so you have to believe in yourself. And here's the biggest thing actually that I had to do, and it was really tough. You know, we network, right, to grow our circles, and we want to bring everybody along. We want to bring everybody with us to where we want to go and to where we're going. But you got to remember,
exactly, yes.
You know what? I want to see people expand their network and their circle just to shrink it. And you do it again.
Yeah.
And again.
that's some words there.
And it's, so if your circle is not allowing for you to get to where you want to go,
you expand
that circle.
Yeah.
And you're going to find the pieces. And then you know what? You're going to be like, you're over there because I'm over here. And it really took that for me.
There's a lot of squares that can't fit in your circle anymore.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are not
all right,
allowed.
Cool, guys. Okay, let's just take a quick break there. It's 21 minutes past the hour, 10 o'clock. This is the Bogan Morning Show. When we come back, we're going to hear Tim's favorite foods when he got here and how he thinks about not just the bad side, just the fun side of things. We like to call it groove here. Yeah, have you heard that term before?
No.
Yeah, because it means something totally different, yeah. It's time for the news wrap, where we let you know what's happening international and locally. First on our list here, we got the DA wants the health minister, Aaron Motsoaledi, to appear before the parliament to explain how far he is in the quest to find alternative funding sources to replace, obviously, the The PEPFAR, the PEPFAR funding as well.
Yeah, this of course after Donald Trump came out and he announced that they'll be cutting funding into South Africa, more specifically heading towards the HIV and AIDS side of things. Very, very challenging. Of course, Minister himself, Aaron Motsoaledi, has no answers at the moment. Of course, you have a political party
didn't they do the budget?
That's what I was engaged to right now. You have a political party that's worried about increasing VAT, about VAT increases, but then yet you are in the same party, and no one in the party is telling you, Chief, actually these are solutions we have for funding in you, but yet they want money from other parties, but you can't get money inside your own party. So it's a bit challenging for him. I don't know how he's going to come out of this situation. I don't know what. I have no idea of a solution. Of course, I want to bring you into this, Tim. Of course, it might be brought to light to you that South Africa, of course, has the highest AIDS count in the world. Of course, I think this coming after second to Swaziland and of course Brazil. You being in the States and having to hear such sentiments from Donald Trump and saying, listen, actually we're going to cut off the funding, and you think to yourself, I'm going to South Africa in a short while. What kind of impact? And of course you go to orphanage. Well, a lot of the orphanages are currently dealing with these kind of socioeconomic issues, these kind of social issues. How do you deal with this, knowing that you're going in a country that is dying by such a disease?
Listen, it was amazing watching Donald Trump start his rhetoric on my way here, right? I had already booked my flight, and all of a sudden, like 3 weeks later, this kind of started to come from him. And so, you said it earlier, the representation we get of Africa back home, right, is dirt roads, dust in the air, swollen bellies,
walking on elephants or riding on elephants.
Exactly.
The fly on that child.
Lion safaris. So
is that child, guys. I swear to God, they repeat the same images.
Inside, deep down, having seen America firsthand, having lived in America, and just knowing what Donald Trump's agenda kind of is. It's to really keep oppressing any and all ethnicities that are not Caucasian. And I'll be honest, right? And so whether that's by pulling U.S. aid so that the health infrastructure starts to crumble, whether that's how do you say carefully?
You have to be very careful.
Whether it's inlets and inroads into the political factions, right, to kind of cause separation and chaos. I see all of that as one, right? It's an attack on what I see and what African Americans see as Black power, right? And so, how can you kind of squash the power of a rising. You can take away health benefits and make it harder to achieve success rates and goals and contraceptions and making false claims, which I
definitely
false claims, right? And so
I'm sure you've seen firsthand, man.
Oh, I have, like the Expropriation Law Land Act. It's like, this is not a Zimbabwe type situation. You know what I mean? This is South Africa. This is the most industrialized country on the continent, right? And so I firsthand can say that, I haven't seen or heard of any white farmers having their land taken. But what I will say is I have a personal close friend, my host, who is Black, and her farm was taken.
Oh.
So are we going to tell those stories at home in America? Because in Ulamzi,
now they're taking the Black people's farms.
7 tenants, right, that it was taken. But I spoke with her, and we spoke with the tenants, and it was rightfully so. The land was sitting there for the last 5 years, open, untamed, right? The government went up, and they're like, we need to put people in homes. They said, here you go, here's the papers. We were just there last month, and it was a difficult conversation to have.
But there was a conversation. That's the important part. It's not just they came in and they just...
Yeah. And so what they agreed on was, okay, you guys are going to keep your homes where you built them. We're tearing this all up. We're going to build a church. We're building a farm. And the deal was, okay, I want to caretake it. I want to be the caretaker of the
Okay.
farm. Like it allows me to feel like
So there's still some form of compensation after the expropriation.
No, there's compensation.
Exactly. And,
Like
you know,
people like to put it out. There's no compensation.
Yeah.
You see, that compensation part does not.
And that
come
that
out.
comes with the conversation. You can't get
Yes.
compensated if you're not gonna have a conversation. If you're gonna be stubborn about letting the land go, of course there will be no conversation. They'll literally take it away because they feel this is
No.
our land.
Now, where I want to say is, you know, that's a black owner, right, with black tenants, right, coming to that agreement. Now, if it was a white farmer, they would be getting compensated. They'd be getting actual money, cash in the bank, unless they're speculating, right, or just doing ill deeds with the land. So it's like,
What do you feel about the whole compensation part? Anyways, do you think it's fair?
yes, I do. From America, where blacks don't own land and blacks don't own businesses, and to come here and see a black political party, to see so many just wonderful black people, and know that the land itself is still an apartheid era, like
It's incredible.
there needs to be some compensation. We're asking for reparations from 300, 400, 500 years ago back home.
So this honey that you guys are always talking about, where is the milk and honey? I mean,
It's for who? This
who's
milk
it
and
for? This
because
milk and
clearly
honey.
it's not
Like,
for all of us.
How?
Because now we're getting a facade because everyone is running today saying that the dollar is powerful and they're gonna go work there and then they bring back
Bro,
money.
I was
here.
over Easter weekend. I'm here putting honey on my bread, drinking milk. I'm thinking, hey, Americans are living a nice life. Man. Milk and honey like this. Now here you
Why
are
not?
telling us. Oh,
Yo,
This
man.
this room right here we're in is 13,000 rand if there's a toilet for me to rent on a monthly
Damn,
basis. Your grapes that are 16 to 20 rand or 220 rand for me to get, right? So
Wow.
me as a banker, as a restaurant GM, even a like filmmaker, photographer, the perception of wealth and value over there is a perception. Like
Yeah, it truly is a perception. 'Cause that's insane.
if you take away the perception, i.e. DeepSeek, the AI, right? Take away the perception of needing to spend that kind of money, and you're going to cripple the U.S. dollar. The U.S. economy is going to go where it's going right now, right?
yeah. I'm shocked, but
Even me, I'm shocked.
yeah, but your enlightenment is shocking me. But nonetheless, let's continue with some of the local news. Of course, our services at Tembisa Hospital are fully operational following the fire that's at the faculty's accident and emergency unit over the course of the weekend.
Right, and the EFF member in the Northern Cape are expected to march to the Premier Zamani's office today just to protest against the existence of Orania.
Okay, EFF will be fully on the road today. Of course, I know there's
You know Orania?
Yeah,
Have you
man,
heard
I
of
saw a documentary.
Oh,
My
you saw a
algorithms
documentary.
kicked in.
It's a wrap.
Of course it will kick in. Of course for you to
before I
kick
came.
It's a real thing, by the way.
Yeah, TikTok.
It exists.
TikTok was showing me the Aronia documentary, like after I had booked and stuff, and I was like, I wonder if I can get in. I'm like, because I
They'll look at your curly hair. They'll be like, nah, bro,
Nah,
not
bro.
yet.
Nah, brother.
Nah,
Nah,
bro. Not here. Not
But
this place.
I heard there's a guy named Jackson Cooper out here from the States, and he got in there with his camera.
Yeah, there are quite a few. I think they allowed
yeah.
media. There's another Nigerian journalist as well who visited Orania not too long ago. They allow you to go inside to capture, but the one in fact in one of his interviews he asked one of the ministers there if a non-white person could come live there. They immediately said no.
You can't live there.
You can't.
But
You can come. You can
visit there.
visit. EFF members. Quite a few. Julius Malema and them were there quite some time ago. And of course now the notion was like, no, you can come to your interviews and film your things, yeah, but you can't live here.
Can't live here.
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't know what to do with this ginger.
So I don't know their march. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's the outcome of the march.
Yeah, I have no idea what the outcome of that is. In fact, they should focus more on the march. In fact, the EFF will be split into two. I think some are going to Orania and the others are going to the High Court in Cape Town because there's a strike there for the VAT increases. So I don't know. I mean, EFF, they're kind of running out of numbers. I don't know how they're going to split into.
I do have some things to say about that VAT increase. I know we've talked about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me hear your insight on that before we move on to that.
It's tough. You have what 18 million people on those social programs right now. If you do not increase that VAT, you're not going to keep up with the cost of living. Right? Inflation's at 3.5%. That means the VAT should go up 3.5%, economically speaking.
Okay.
Yeah, but now you've seen,
a good-
economically speaking, you've seen the situation. Socially speaking, now,
Yes.
is it worth
Is it worth it? No. Here's the problem. So if they put the VAT up, I know they all the way down to 0.5%, but let's go back to that 2%. If they did the 2%, financial markets were still upset. The rand was still weakening. It wasn't enough, which means you don't have enough funding coming in to put out those dollars to the 50 to 60-year-olds that bought their homes in 94 to 98, right? Even in Santon four-ways, I'm telling you now, those people that are not working, that are on government assistance, if you don't match inflation,
but not Tim. Just to play devil's advocate.
but it hurts the
Paul
poor.
Mashatile, I think he was in an assassination situation, allegedly in assassination situation, and it's come out in most media outlets that it was something that was planned. It was a PR stunt because he was being questioned about his 16 million rand VIP protection unit. Now you're thinking to yourself, this 16 million rand is going to one person in government. Why can't we take that 16 million rand and perhaps shift it down in the economy? And this has been my argument since the introduction of the VAT increases, whereas our ministries, our parliaments are charging a lot more of our money, whereas if we take a fraction of that and shift it down in the economy, maybe just that 0.5 increase would not be worthy.
That's more than the United States president makes. The United States president makes $250,000, and that's 5 million.
Imagine
rand.
that.
So he makes
Sure.
right. So our so just let that.
But that's
settle
nothing
in.
to him, but the current one.
But no, I agree. And so right now it's like, do we hold up our middle class that are generating all the tax, the income, the revenue, right, to keep some services kind of going, as shaky as they are. But if you do that, yeah, you're hurting the really impoverished and the lower class. And so it's just being informed, it's being educated.
So the usual, the poor gets poor, it's the rich get rich.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the middle just kind of
Just stay their way.
stays in
Yeah.
the bubble. But you can only do that for so long. Because like I said, the rand, I've watched the rand go from 19 to the dollar down to 18, back up to 19, now it's at 18.82. And as a person who does the markets, if you guys don't bring in some funding somehow, that rand's going to shoot to 22, 23.
Yeah.
At the time when tariffs are taking things out, you got we can go on AGOA, we
That's
can go on so
insane.
many things.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of firsts happening right now due to the U.S. calling South Africa kind of a national security threat.
Wow.
There's a lot that's changed.
And that's a problem, you know,
by
when the
him
US calls you a
saying
threat.
Yeah, but it's no longer a thing now, guys. We don't need those guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, but yeah.
No, I know,
You
but
know, we don't need Donald Trump
we
personally.
don't. We don't
Yeah.
need him either. We don't
Oh,
need
you guys don't need him.
They're protesting in the streets, man. If anyone watching back home,
Because I know there's an elections coming up also in the United States as well. I think it's going to be in June, somewhere there.
yeah, there's
Or is
special
it-
elections going on. It's in his home state. He won that.
He lost that,
district.
didn't he?
He won that district by 30 percentage points, and right now that district is in Democratic hands in the polling by 5 points. So the more he keeps doing this, the sooner we'll be able to take some power back.
As we wrap up the news, I wanted to ask you one more question. Donald Trump is in for 4 years, correct?
Yes.
And he's put up all these tariffs and all that. After his term, what happens to all the decisions he's made now?
So he pinned them in through executive order. So a Democratic president can come in and
Or you just continue the
undo
same-
them from executive order since he set precedent, right? So he or she, I'm gonna look, fingers crossed. She,
Fingers crossed.
I'm sure a lot of Americans are hoping for she.
we're hoping. I'm hoping for a she, right? Literally, it can be undone.
Oh,
But
okay.
don't be surprised. He's slowly undoing it now because the political pressure. Republican Congress and senators, they are feeling the burn. They're getting the phone calls from angry voters. That's one thing is these protests right now on the weekends and during the week, 100,000 in Washington and in Chicago. There was a big one in Minneapolis where I'm from. This isn't red or blue. It's everybody together. And when we come together, you're going to change your route.
Definitely.
Like we don't agree to price increases. You know, like that's not something that we want. At the same time, there's a faction of us that, you know, I feel bad, I feel awful, but the 30 to 40-year-olds, we didn't vote this year. I'm gonna be honest. We stayed home. We boycotted through TikTok, and then they banned TikTok, so we kept.
Now you can hear your voice.
Oh my goodness.
We boycotted over.
Oh my goodness.
We boycotted over what Donald Trump is really coming after your politicians for, right? Like, we boycotted over Israel and Gaza, and that's why Kamala did not deserve my vote.
All right, cool, man. Let's move on to the other parties. I think we can do all of them before we go to sports. I think so. Let me just see there.
Sure. Yeah. No, very interesting insight from you, Tim.
Yeah, very insightful.
I mean, obviously, you know, I've always been.
I think we can head over to sports after this. Actually.
Yeah. I've always been on the side where ignorance is not bliss.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd rather be ignorant and be enlightened by somebody else, and that's how I learn. And I feel my ignorance towards what's going on in the States and being enlightened by you almost paints a different picture of how Black Americans are, how African Americans are living are living in the States, and thinking to myself, this is not milk and honey at all. This is
no, it's not.
It's drops of water, to say the least.
We get breadcrumbs, man.
Yeah.
And we're always forced to start anew. Like, it doesn't matter, you know, the restaurant general manager here and this in the industry, and when we go to our next industry, we're
at the bottom,
bare bone.
But yeah, man, it's the Bogut Morning Show. We still have Timothy Claiborne all the way from Minnesota, ladies and gentlemen, of United States of America. Donald Trump's man. But clearly he has denied him.
He's
left, right, and
he's
center.
He's going to reject my request for comment on my short film for sure.
Yeah, don't worry, man. We're going to give you a visa here, man. We're going to keep the visa going.
Let's go.
Yeah. But yeah, man, so since you've arrived, any of the foods that you have taken a taste of?
So listen, I eat. Like, I know I look skinny, but I eat.
Okay.
I was a sous chef before.
You got a fast metabolic system.
Metabolism. There's so many things that I've tried that I can't even tell you what they were. Like, and that's the truth. Since I've been here, I'm an eater. So, but
the food is good.
The food's delicious. What I love the most is I call her my aunt Pundali, her chutney. Because in America, chutney, that's not like, chutney is like a sweet sauce, like a mayo substance, right? Like maybe a little this with the vegetables and the flavors, right? I'm a flavor guy. So
yeah,
and what I mean is, okay, in Ulamzi and Westfield, we, you know, I was a part of the traditional.
I like how he says umlas.
I was going to ask him one quick question. You haven't had goat head, no?
No, I did. That's what I'm
getting
to.
So you're getting, okay, cool.
Okay.
I was wondering, you Mlazi, no goat head. What's going on?
Well, we were there. My brother, his wife's father, passed away. So we had the traditional ceremony, right, with the two slaughterings of the lamb, cows. So when I said I ate every part, I ate every part.
No, they're gonna put you on if it's like that. They're gonna put you on with the food.
You're out here eating eyeballs.
Yep, every hey, man, it was cooked, whatever was in there, and for one, to be a part of the cultural experience,
for sure, yeah.
And two, they said I was a sous chef, so like, you know, I'm like, and the owner of that restaurant was Indian, right, and so I'm flabbergasted by just the mix of the street food and the vending and the container foods. Like, that's honestly, I've been to at least 40, 50 different places. Just walk up, grab.
I think I'm gonna take you to a place called Kwama Mai. I'm not sure if you've been there. It's Kwama Mai. It's an extraordinary one.
You might not come back the same.
Yeah. There's all types of meat there. Meat there. It's just a meat nation there.
I never had. You know, look, I'm weird. You guys are gonna like. I like pop. Yeah.
Oh, shout out to you, man.
Yeah.
No,
like,
pop is life.
It was the first time I ever had it, right? It's just different here. I can't explain it. Food is healthier here, first of all, right? Like, I opened a box. All right, right when I got here, I got a box of cereal, you know, cold cereal. It was Fruit Loops, and I poured it, and I took a bite, and I put the spoon down, and I was like,
which one is it?
I looked at him like, like
It's not the same Fruit Loops.
It's not the same, but I mean it in a good way.
Yeah,
like
for
it's
sure.
naturally flavored.
Yes.
There's no dye. You know.
So
like,
you don't see the colorant on your floating in your milk. You see the white of the milk.
Yeah, like not only that, the eggs at McDonald's for your breakfast taste like eggs. Right?
Definitely.
They taste like eggs.
And we're not even calling those eggs.
The KFC's different.
Yeah,
So
you get pop with your KFC this side, just so you
yeah. So I've done that a couple times, and I've gotten chips a couple times too.
yeah?
But
Wait, you tried chips? What do you mean? What, you guys don't get chips?
well, not. I mean, so our KFCs are dying in the United States. Like they're
Yeah.
going bankrupt over there.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I think the main office in Kentucky was actually closed down.
Yeah. Yeah. The Yum Brands owns the KFC Pizza Hut name, and they had always kind of separate entities under the umbrella Yum China and Yum America. They eventually sold off Yum China, and I'm curious because I feel like Yum China is who
The main-
runs these
yeah,
KFCs, right? But there's the technology in these restaurants, like the U.S. is behind.
Are you serious?
Oh, dude! Like McDonald's is just now getting to the point of what your KFC is.
For real?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like they're there.
I didn't know
Mr.
that.
Cupcake, you are doing the things. Cupcake, you are doing the things.
Yeah, he's doing
Mr.
the-
President, you are definitely doing the things.
Well, and the thing is you guys.
So there's no
have-
self-ordering in the
There-
States. Most of
There
them.
is, but it's not as clean, neat, beautiful, sophisticated as this. It's still messy, right? Like everybody still goes to the counter over the self-ordering.
so what is it
because
for
it's
you
not
guys?
proper.
Popeyes, Burger King?
Yeah, Popeyes. We got Churches. We got Burger King.
Okay,
We got
alright,
Wendy's.
okay.
We don't have Wimpy's.
Oh, okay.
We don't
No,
have
you
Wimpy's.
definitely don't have Wimpy's.
Definitely don't
You
have
definitely
Wimpy's.
don't
We don't
have
have Steers.
Wimpy goes way back here. Since
No
apartheid,
Nando's?
No, the
Wimpy
what?
goes way back.
Nando's.
No Nando's. That is delicious. That peri peri.
But I won't lie. I won't lie. Nando's is delicious, guys. I don't think Nando's get enough credit for their food or their chicken, guys.
Chicken licking.
No.
I went to chicken licking before I went to KFC.
You
because
found your
I
soul,
re-
eh?
Uh-huh.
You
like
found your
that.
soul, like, yeah.
Like that. Hey.
This is where I need to be.
I was like, hey, I don't feel bad no more. 'Cause at home we joke. We always joke.
You found
we're
your
like,
soul, my brother.
we're like, we're black. We eat our watermelon and our chicken. We do.
Alright.
But here I'm like,
All right.
Yeah, chicken
man.
is real. Even our boss as well. Every time he sees one of us, like, yeah, where you chicken today? He knows how obsessed
It's a
we are
real
with
thing,
chicken. He
man.
knows.
at least once. a
Yeah,
week.
but thank you so much for joining us, man, Timothy, and just getting a little bit more insight. I hope you're still around, man. We can also get some insight from you as well. It was incredible just knowing things that are happening in the States, you know, because personally I haven't been to the States like that, but hopefully we're going to go back and experience these things.
Before we
You
let you
know.
go, quick insight with your socials. How can our listeners follow you?
Oh, so okay, it's really the best way. Facebook, Timothy Claiborne.
Yeah.
From there, you can find everything else. But my handle is Candid Ideas, and so it's CANDIDEYE, as in
Okay.
the photography I, and then DEA.
I knew your handle would be something complicated. Now
Yep.
I must go double look. I must make sure it's
So,
Tim.
but if you type in Timothy Claiborne, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, that's the best
you.
way to reach me.
No, shout out to you, my king. You've been a blessing, bro. Shout
All
out
right,
to you.
cool,
May
man.
obviously everything be good for you.